Good day, fish tankers. Today we're going to do a deep dive into these very rare fantail goldfish. Just joking, we're not going to be talking about goldfish, tetras or guppies. We're just going to have a fun video looking at some rare fish. By rare I mean fish that we don't see every day in our local fish store in my neck of the woods, that being the Western Cape in South Africa, and some fish that are fairly common in the hobby. We just love them for their weirdness. Some are huge, others are tiny, some are just plain weird. Sounds good? Stick around. Here is a little live bearer called a half-beak. Very weird looking fish, almost like a gar or a pike, but they're small fish. They almost, I would say, they fall under nano fish. And I'm told by Jacques here at McMurray that they do eat micro pellets, so they're not as hard to feed these particular ones as one would think. And we all want a stingray, but if we don't have a substantial space that they require, you can always have a mini stingray. And look at the nice pattern on this reticulated heel stream loach, just having a little snooze there on a Monte Carlo carpet. Here he is again. Behind him, of course, is a stir-by Corey, but just look at the pattern of his loach. That little very pretty mini stingray effect. Here we have a giant gourami, not just a giant gourami, but a red-tailed giant gourami over there at Heartland Aquatics, and it does require a huge aquarium, which they do fortunately have. So this is not for everyone, but if you want a tropical pool, you can consider this fish. And strangely enough, they eat fruit, among other things, and here he's enjoying some peach slices. Another bit of peach there for this fellow. And this is a whiptail catfish. Small little fish, very peaceful, great for planter tanks. I'm told they're good algae eaters as well. This one is a royal whiptail. You can see it's got these long extensions on its fins. And here are some more of them. The fish just looks better on a substrate than some plants to me, although I do understand in the shop those bare bottom tanks work because you need to catch a fish. And here are some very nice royal whiptails as well. Odd looking twig-like fish. Now we all know I've got these dwarf puffers or pea puffers that I simply adore. But when you're talking oddballs, you've got to talk about puffers. And here is a brown puffer. It comes from the Mekong River in China. It's a fully freshwater puffer. And just look at that face. Of course, much bigger puffer. And with the bigger puffers, you've got to feed them snails or mussels or something that they can grind down their teeth. Otherwise, those teeth get overgrown. And you have to perform a whole operation on cutting their teeth, and that's not something I want to do. There's a Fahaka puffer or Nile puffer. Look at the stripes. Quick show by a humpback puffer. And you all know I'm going to include my favorite little mascot there at Brackenfell Pets. Well, he's not little. He's quite a substantial green spotted puffer. And they, of course, are brackish water fish. They require salt in their water, otherwise they don't do well. Always looking for food. And this is something odd. These are little pygmy barbs. Tiny little barbs. I'm told they're good in a planted tank. And talk about a hangover. Look at these guys. I'm not talking about the cories there in the background, but the headstanders. They swim in this peculiar position with their head downwards. And these are more barbs that we don't ordinarily see. Striped barbs, not like a tiger barb, but the stripes run lengthwise down the body. And we all know this fella, very common in Barbie, the coolie loach, but they are still oddballs. Odd looking snake-like fish. Very peaceful, great for the smaller aquariums. And they love that stripy pattern. Now this is some sort of a gar. You can see that's definitely a predator. Almost crocodile-like there in the head. And these I think are silver gars or silver pikes. I'm not quite sure which. I spotted these at a pet world and they're big fish. They're about Oscar size, so they'll need a big tank. And this is Paratilapia polleni. Apparently they're known as the black diamond cichlid, but very striking with those black bodies and then the sparkling white silvery spots on that black body. A really striking fish. If I had a big aquarium, I keep threatening and keep hoping I'll find the space and the budget for another Oscar tank. But maybe one could consider these instead, although I am told they are very aggressive. Have any of you kept these cichlids? Then let me know in the comment section what were your experience with them. Are they murderous, or can they be kept in a sort of a big community of other large fish? From large to little, these are of course Norman's lamp eye killifish. Also sort of fairly recent in the hobby here in South Africa. I haven't seen them way in the past, but now I do see them down again. And although I keep freshwater fish, and that's primarily what this channel is about, it doesn't mean we can't admire some of the marine fish or the seawater fish. Look at this lionfish with its venomous fins herding prey into that huge mouth. And here are some elephant noses. They're mormonids, they emit a weak electric current. And here's a marine version of an elephant nose, bird nose wrasse. If I ever do a seawater tank, a biggish one, I definitely would get one of those guys. Now here's the German blue ram. That's not an oddball, we all know about them. But they can be finicky, they want high temperatures, and inbreeding causes all sorts of problems with them. So I recently found these, and these are Bolivian rams. I think they're more common overseas, but we don't see them a lot in South Africa. This is actually the first time I've ever seen them over here in my neck of the woods. But they're apparently a lot more hardy. And I think once they grow up, if I look where the colours start on these little fish, they're going to look really spectacular. If I only had more tanks. And this is a dwarf cichlid, Latacara curviceps, but you also don't see that often in the hobby. So a little bit on the chunky side for a dwarf cichlid, but still a smallish cichlid nonetheless. And I think quite nice looking cichlids with those rounded heads. This is a pike cichlid, and you can see that's a predator. Definitely not for your community aquarium. And here's an oddball of note, and this is a blind cave tetra. They lost their need for eyes because they live in underwater cave river systems. So there's only small little spots where the eyes used to be. Clown killifish, I think fairly common overseas, but also something we don't see all the time here in South Africa. Nice pattern, small nano fish, but keep the lids on those tanks because they jump. And this has become very popular, and we've seen a lot of them, and of course it's an oddball. It's a man-made hybrid with flowerhorn cichlid. Let me know in the comment section. It's a rather polarizing fish. Do you love them or do you hate them? And here's the Axel Roddy Rasbora, or neon blue Rasbora. You'll see it somewhat resembles a cardinal tetra in color, but that blue stripe is higher up on the back, and the body shape is different and they're much smaller. It's a very nice little nano fish. I think these will do great in a planted tank, and you can see they school there in the top half, whereas cardinals like to be lower down. And these are bichers or bikers or bashirs, however you pronounce it. In South Africa, we just tend to call them by the genus name polypterus. And this is not the normal Senegalese polypterus that grey colour. This one is a little bit different. Polypterus ornatipinus. Nice pattern on these guys. And they look almost ancient, like a link between reptiles and fish. And they tend to lie around at day and come out at night. And you can see there's his friend on the other side of the log. Wait, finally a fish is working for the camera. There he's showing himself. Look at the pattern on those pectoral fins. Beautiful fish. Here's another one, slightly smaller. Not 100% sure if it's the same species. I think it looks different to me. And we've had these glass catfish for years in the aquarium hobby. They're nothing new. Let me know if you've kept them. What were your experience with them? In the days I was managing a pet shop, I found these very finicky fish. They need good water quality, subdued lighting, not too much flow. They tend to be difficult to feed. The ones I had needed some frozen brine shrimp to get them to eat. And they need very gentle tank mates, nothing that's competitive or nippy. And this is a huge tank, and I took this while I was in the UK. Can anyone in the comment section tell me what kind of catfish this is? It looks like a giraffe cat to me without the spots. And I'm not quite sure what it is. If you know, tell me in the comment section. And I thought I'd add this in here, clown loaches. I love clown loaches, but I haven't seen ones this huge in South Africa really, because they grow very slowly, but these are real chonkers. So that's how big they can actually get. Compare them to the frontosas. Some really huge clown loaches here. And as the scarlet badders drives away in the plants, please guys remember to hit the thumbs up button, hit that like button, and please remember to subscribe if you feel so inclined. And remember to take good care of our domestic denizens of the deep.